Alrighty then, it is 9:56 a.m. on a Sunday. I've not been asleep for quite a while, but the reason for this is that I stupidly stayed awake until about 1 or 2 hours before this time, between Friday and Saturday, and so I did not feel particularly, or rather did not feel particularly compelled to try and sleep during the entirety of, well, Saturday after I woke, or today up to right now. Unfortunately, though, the human brain being what it is quite likely that my physiological need to sleep will catch up to me at some point, so in the interest of that being as non-catastrophic as possible, I am making an effort to stay that off for as long as I can. And one of the things I will do as part of that effort is replay some spooky games that I have played in the past, but well, the deal is, I guess, this is a series of 4 games. And whereas I have played all of them, I pretty much only remember anything about the first 2. The other 2 I vaguely remember at all. So maybe playing through all of these once more will be a means to refresh my mind. Oh boy, glorious MIDI. And yeah, these are from the early mid-2000s. They are the Chzo Mythos games. And here we meet the primary protagonist of, well, the first one of them is not really the protagonist of, well, the first one and the third one as well, spoiler alert, but not like the protagonist of all of them. However, he's pretty much a central figure of the series. This is Trilby, who also has made an appearance in a few other games created by the creator, you know, as opposed to created by the bystander. But the creator in question is Ben Croshaw, aka Yahtzee. Can't really tell you that much about him, because I don't really know a lot about him besides this. So I'll say that much. But yes, these have author commentary, as you can see. I think all of them do. The latest editions that were released, which I say latest in kind of a more literal than anything else sense, since the last, the last version of any of these that was released was quite a while ago, mid-2000s to late 2000s. I'm pretty sure the newest one of these is over 10 years old, so there's that. But yeah, this is 5 Days a Stranger, created in Adventure Game Studio, I'm pretty sure. With music from, which I believe is stock music from old versions of RPG Maker, if I got my trivia right, but games can actually take a little while to go through, so let's go ahead and get started. I have 4 of them, and if possible I would like to do all of them in one sitting, which I have never done, but you know, what could possibly go wrong? Day 1. When each of these days starts, you get this little cutaway to completely black screen with the white text in the middle, just like with The Shining, which you might learn if you play this with commentary. And yeah, if you missed that little textual in the beginning, which I guess, I guess I didn't end up doing it, nor was I really coordinated to. The idea that maybe another thing to help me stay awake would be to voice act as much of this as possible, or attempt to, I by no stretch of the imagination think of myself as a competent voice actor, but well, you can hear that interesting noises happen, spooks happen, if you kind of stand around doing nothing. And even if you move around, I'm pretty sure you can still hear them. You get footsteps and you get like little whispering noises. But the premise of this game, which, well, initial premise that I kind of didn't pay any attention to in the intro there, because I was just talking over all of it, was that we are this guy, Trilby the Gentleman Thief, and this mansion that we just broke into has just had its last owner die. And apparently there's no one occupying it now. I would just break in and, you know, grab some loot, and it's easy streets. Which I have no reason to believe that would not be the case, so let's look around at what we got here. The safe is an Armstrong steel safe, 14 steel safe. I can crack these in my sleep, so let's go ahead and take a look inside. Damn, empty. Guess the family solicitor got here first. So what else do we got here? The kind of box the middle class keep around themselves in order to appear learned. An empty glass-fronted cabinet. Well, just the first part of it is empty. You can kind of see, you know, that the lower part of it actually have something inside. Assuming it's all one single unit. Also painting a rather dreadful portrait of a woman. Early Victorian style, and I notice a wedding band on her finger. This must be the wife of the mansion's first owner. I think this is supposed to take place in... Hang on, let me see if I can readjust the window to make it have as few borders as possible. Let me take a look at it over here, actually. Outstanding borders. Okay, I think it looks okay now. Oh yeah. Actually, wait just a minute. It's supposed to have a monitor capture. Well, I am using monitor capture to, you know, capture this. The game, that is, but apparently that also has the consequence of using monitor capture to capture this window as well, which I am not okay with. Hang on, let me move this. Yeah, I need that to not capture like that. That's actually kind of a problem. I'm just gonna leave that there. Gonna put this over to the left. Close that, leave that there, and the window I have, which is, you know, my actual chat. That's not the stylized chat. No, whoops. In the middle, so that doesn't look weird. Alright, I think the window borders are fine at least, so crisis averted, we can continue. So where was I? An executive chair upholstered in black leather. Doesn't seem like a Victorian fixture. Must be an addition made by the most recent tenant. Bachelor of Law awarded to Clarence Defoe by the University of Warwick. Alright. Clarence Defoe was the last owner of the house who recently died, and I think I've just lost whatever sympathy I had for him. Lawyers, am I right? And the window through which I entered this place. You can use the function keys to quickly switch through the 4 basic functions of the game, which is walk, look, interact with, and speak. This window won't answer me, but if we try to open the window, it won't open, because I'll have to take the old-fashioned way out. I trust that this will be no complication, will bring no complications whatsoever. What? Oh no, no, stay away from me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't really simulate shouting. Considering. Oh wait. My perfectly smooth face, I forget I'm wearing this thing. But who the hell was that guy? I was under the impression that this house was empty. Perhaps that is not to be. Jammed shut, so you might start to notice a pattern with the windows here. And most of the doors at first. The door is locked. However, I think this door over to the far right is not going to be locked. And how convenient too, because it's a bathroom. So let's take a look around. Very understated mirror. It's a sink. Beyond that, there's not much I can say about it. I hate bidets, they're so decadent. An immaculate porcelain lavatory. Well, what if we try to interact with any of these? I really could do with a haircut. Not the sort of burglar who leaves the taps running out of sheer malevolence, apparently. When I need it, I'll let you know. And there's an ordinary bathroom mat. So ordinary, in fact, that I shouldn't think there's much underneath, so we'll not be messing with that, I suppose. Bath looks very clean and white, probably recently used. Also get a shower curtain, or rather a bath curtain. Windows are also dirty, it's impossible to see through them cleanly. You know, that's a bit of a hand wave there. I mean, I can't say anything about that. I am not an artist, and I have pretty much no artistic ability myself, so it's not really my place to criticize, I feel. But hey, that pretty much does it for the upper floor here. Let us head down to the foyer, lobby, whatever you wanna call this place, entrance hall. Looks like an edition of the local rag. Let's check out the newspaper. Always keep abreast of day-to-day events. We'll check out a phone. Ordinary telephone, perhaps this could be my ticket out of here. And doors. This must be the main entrance. Hopefully they won't object to acting as an exit too. Well, I don't know. No latch, no chain, no deadbolt. It doesn't even have a keyhole. So why won't the bloody thing open? This is becoming very tiresome. Well, maybe the telephone will be the key to, or not, lines dead. Somehow I was expecting that. So let's check out the rest of this place. Might as well. Kind of without many options right now. Well, stressor, how very bourgeois. And this is what I call an antique. Nice finish, probably fetch a decent amount if I can find the right dealer. Well, don't know how we're gonna get anything out of here. Straight from the Argos catalog to your living room. There's apparently this settee. Do we sit in the rocking chair? I think finding a way out of this place is higher on my priorities than stealing the furniture right now. Well, I mean, you could balance, plan ahead, if you will. It's ornamental, the drawers and cabinets are all empty. Well, what about the, you know, plates and crap on the front? I guess we're not gonna acknowledge those. Guess we have no use for them. Nice sit down, can wait for later. Also a landscape back here. Rather amateurish, the signature identifies it as the work of Matthew Defoe. Circa 1818. Examples of popular Victorian fiction. Shall we leaf through some of them? No, apparently none of them would be helpful. Some pretty unscrupulous art dealers, but I doubt even they deserve this. Oh boy, apparently we're quite the art critic. Even if I'm not. Also a cord. Extension cord for the VCR. TV must have another power source. Also the VCR itself. Just a plain old VCR. And the Sony MH400. Some collector's value here. It was becoming defunct at about the same time as the Rubik's Cube, alright. And an obscenely overstuffed sofa. I think that's pretty much everything in this room. So let's steal the extension cord. You know, this is the one item that we don't have any objections to stealing immediately. Doesn't seem to be a tape inside the VCR if we check the television. The society world is still shaken by the sudden death of Sir Clarence Defoe. Sir Clarence and his wife Julia were found dead last Thursday in Defoe Manor. Our correspondent Peter Daltrey has the report. It was just 4 weeks ago that this place was a buzz of activity. Not a buzz with activity as Sir Clarence Defoe moved in with his new bride Julia Swanson Defoe. Now after this shocking tragedy, the place is quiet as a tomb and empty of human life. Heh. They don't know I'm here. Sir Clarence had only proven his attachment to the Defoe lineage almost 1 year ago, right, and since then had been renovating the long-abandoned family mansion in preparation for his marriage. The police have already declared the tragedy as a murder-suicide, although many have insisted that Sir Clarence was incapable of such an act. The debate rages on, while the fate of the house and the family fortunes remains unclear. This is Peter Daltrey for BBC News Defoe Matter. Thank you, Peter. Our top stories again. Static. Minister. Static. Yep, sounds about right. I hate television. Well, I can't really disagree there. I turned my TV off after 2004. Hey. Whoops. It's about time you showed up. I'm sorry. And, well, you should be. Been stuck in this house for days. Where's the way out? I'm sorry, I don't understand. You're the guy who owns this place, right? No. Oh. So how'd you get in here? A window on the second floor. Is it still open? No, it jumped shut. Damn. Well, looks like the house has a new guest. I hope no more turn up. We only got 5 chairs. If you'll excuse me, I've got work to do. Wait a minute. Yes. Who are you? Oh, I beg your pardon. Party's the name. Really Party. Call me Phil, and you are? Trilby. Mr. Trilby, I'm afraid you are now a prisoner. Like me, like everyone else in the house. A prisoner? Don't ask me why, but once you get in, the house won't let you leave. I've tried all the doors and windows, none of them open. The garden wall's unclimbable, and I can't tunnel under it. But why? Who's keeping us here? Beats the hell out of me. Whoever it is, they will certainly not be safe from my fists once I get out of here. So if there's something you're not telling me, now would be a good time to get it off your chest. I assure you I am completely mystified. So how many more people are in this place? Only 3 more. First there's Jim, the youngest. He turned up just after I did. He's a good kid. Second, Simone Taylor. You probably know her off the telly. She's a correspondent for the BBC. Came here to make some kind of documentary, I think, but now she's stuck here with us. She didn't bring anyone else, apparently. Lastly, there's AJ. Skinny bloke with a tash. He won't tell us who he is or where he came from. All I know is that he's been here longer than anyone, nearly a whole week. I think I've already met him. Oh, what a heartwarming story. Anyway, why don't you see if you can track them all down? I'm calling a house meeting in the lounge. Spread the word. I trust you'll enjoy your stay at the Faux Manor, Mr. Trilby. I still don't understand. Just find the others and tell them to meet up in the lounge. We can discuss things properly then. And there we go. We got our mission for the time being. So yeah, we got 5 people trapped in the house. Or trapped in the house. I just said tried. Hang on a second, actually. Let me see. What happens if I do this? Okay, that's what happens if I do that. That's kind of a problem. Okay, what happens if I do this? That's also a problem. Hang on, I'm gonna make this work. There we go. Oh shit. Okay, there we go, maybe, possibly. There we are. Ooh. Oh goodness. This is gonna be kind of a pain. But I guess I'm gonna be dealing with it. Because let's see, what happens if I do this now? What happens if I do this? Will it overlap with anything? It will not. Okay, good. Just want to be able to do this without that interrupting anything. Alright, there we are. Anyway, excuse the interruptions, but I do want to get this, as non-bad as possible, which I don't know how reliably I'm going to be able to do that, but I can at least try. I think maybe, possibly, ostensibly, potentially. Anyway, let's just Get back to this. Stuffed tiger head mounted in the act of snaring, presumably to justify its death in some small way. Very old sepia print photograph of a man in an explorer's gear, standing over a dead tiger. The label reads, Sir Roderick tames a vicious beast. The gun he's holding looks a lot like the one over the fireplace. Speaking of that gun, I'm no expert on guns, but even after that I can still tell you that's a late 18th century musket rifle, standard issue of the British Army of that period. And the sepia print portrays a native bearer in an aggressive stance before a very wary-looking lion. The label reads Savage vs. Savage. Might be starting to notice a pattern here. It's not enough to kill animals in Africa, he has to come and do it in Canada too. It's an ancient picture of two men in full hunting gear. The label reads Sir Roderick and Carstairs, and a very old photograph of a small collection of straw huts. The label reads A Native Village, and a lion head. Someone fancies themselves as a big game hunter, maybe they just fancy themselves. And a bell jar. Glass bell jar containing a rather hideous-looking wooden idol. And a fire too, it's been lit recently. So let's steal the idol, surely that's valuable. Even if I wanted that ugly thing, which I don't, I'd have to break the glass to get to it. Is that how bell jars work? I mean, if that's how if you can't take them out of the jar after you put them in, how do you get them in to begin with without breaking the jar? I have a thing about lions, right? Not sure I want these pictures, they're not a little sickening. Also, we can take the rifle. However, this thing's heavier than it looks. I'm not carrying this around everywhere. I need to find a place to put it down, so we just put it right back down on the hearth. Now what about the moose? Antlers won't feed inside my blazer. And the tiger head. It's more like car boot sale material, right? And there's clearly something here, but apparently it's not an object. So off we go. And we've been examining pretty much everything in the rooms we've been able to reach so far. Let's head back upstairs. And see if there's been any new developments. Well, you know there's someone here. Simone. Unless I'm very much mistaken, it's Simone Taylor, television personality. Pardon me, madam. What? Oh, hello. Philip mentioned we had a new guest. I don't know when he did that, but okay. You're Simone Taylor, right? Yes, he must have seen me on TV. And you are? Trilby. Got a first name? No, that is my first name. Hey, wait a second. Not the cat burglar, Trilby. Oh, wow. Presented a Crime Watch special on you once. Oh man, I wish I had a camera right now. This could be huge. You wouldn't consent to an interview, would you? Madame, even if I did have a sudden retarding brain injury, that would cause me to do so. Don't you think that our apparent imprisonment is a slightly more urgent matter? Well, I admit I thought so the first day I was here. But I've been here 4 days now, and I really think I'm learning a lot about this place. If I could just get these infernal doors open. Philip's calling a house meeting and lounge. Yes, it's so like him to do that when a new face appears. I'll see you later, Mr. Trilby. Now watch me animate completely as a strange woman. I walk my way out of this room. So yeah, this is the point when I would imagine the average person would get stuck like I did. Well, let's head to the west side of the house now. The thing you're supposed to be doing here is not really that obvious or easy to figure out, but can't see through the windows because they're dirty. There's also a table. Nicely varnished oak dining table, probably brought in from IKEA, right? And some cheap wooden dining chairs. And a portrait. Presently professional quality portrait of a bearded man in a Victorian explorer's outfit. A little plaque at the bottom reads Sir Roderick Defoe. And let's see, you can't examine the plaque separately or anything. Windows are all jammed shut, of course. There's nothing on or under the table. Painting is too big to carry around with me, so I guess that means we would consider stealing it. And here's the kitchen. Here's the cooker. Looks like it's never been used. Cabinet, plain old kitchen cabinet, just like this one and this one. Sink as well. Kitchen sink of everything but fame, which I'm unfamiliar with. Brand new fridge freezer unit. So let's take a look. Evidently no one cares if I starve in this place. And we just shut it again immediately, so we can't really take a look at how empty it is, but I guess it's supposed to be empty. Cabinet's empty. This cabinet is not empty, as you can see, but the others are. Cabinet contains a large bag of salt. What about the cooker? Maybe I had something to cook, but I don't, so we're not gonna check if there's anything in the oven or not. Guess not. So out the door we go. There's a twig here. Single that twig must have come off the tree, so let's grab the twig. Pick up sticks. Just about to see the kitchen through here. It's a perfectly serviceable door, but well, if you could find the one window in this place that opened, wouldn't that be something? And here's another door. And I think I can see the interior of a tool shed. Well, I can't, because the window's as black as all the others, but apparently Trilby can. Of course, neither of these things open. Water is deep and smells strongly of chlorine. Yeah, I'll do that. And I didn't bring my trunks, so I can't get in the water. What about the pipeline? Looks like the pipeline comes away from the pool and goes under the lawn. Wonder where it leads. I think I'd best leave it alone. Well, if we go to the lawn, we can see there's a few holes about, and a wall. Very tall, very smooth, very sturdy. Someone's done a real number on this lawn, digging their way out. No, it seems more like they were looking for something, else they wouldn't have made more than one hole. And I don't want to get dirt under my fingernails, apparently, so I can't climb the wall either. Do not interact with anything there, so you might be wondering what the hell do we do now? Let's see, there's a tree. Large oak tree stands proud beside the house, the branches reaching all the way up to the roof. Here's the rest of the house. So we can try to use the tree. Hey. And that doesn't really yield anything more. But if you talk to the tree... Is there someone up in the tree? Yep, apparently there is. Oh, hi. You're new. Have you come to set us free? No, apparently I'm a prisoner now, too. I'm guessing you must be Jim. What were you doing in the tree? Thought I might be able to get over the wall. But the tree's too far. And there's this ravine just outside the wall, too, so you know. So I understand, yes. Philip wants us all to meet up in the lounge. Oh, okay. I'll head there now, then. So there we are. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. You know, there was one more guy that's in the house, but I don't think they're going to be joining us. It's the guy we saw at the very beginning run away after we came out of the first room. So I think this is the lounge, the room right beyond this door. Yep. A new arrival has graced us with our presence, his presence. Expect there's a lot you want to know. Join the club. So let me see if I've got this clear in my head. You're all trapped in this house by some invisible intelligence. Right. And you can't leave. Nope. And as soon as I entered, I became trapped too. Pretty much. Why? Why would anyone want to keep us prisoner here? Maybe they're just lonely. No, if they wanted company, they have shown themselves. Maybe they have. Maybe one of us is behind all this. Oh, don't be silly. Why would any one of us want to trap a lot of people here and pretend we didn't? I don't know, do I? I don't speak loony. It wasn't squabble amongst ourselves. Hampered by paranoia and suspicion, we'd only hinder each other. Okay. Suggest we assume for now that we four are all innocent. I agree with that. We five, including AJ. Where is he anyway? I couldn't find him anywhere. I saw him just after I arrived, but he ran away from me. Well, that's odd. Listen, Mr. Trilby. We work as a team in this house. That's how it's been since it started, even though apparently she got there first, I think. So we all have to share information, no secrets. So why did you come to this house? He is a cat burglar. Why do you even have to ask? Well, I didn't come here to take part in some bizarre Big Brother event, that's for sure. Is there anything you know about this house that would help? Anything at all? I doubt I know much more than any of you. All I know is the last tenant just died and it's apparently supposed to be empty. Well, guess you're not much of a help then. But I suppose an extra pair of hands is always useful. Still not completely clear on a few details. Do I get to ask you all some questions now? Sure. Just ask any of us whatever you like. And I guess we do, but let me take a quick break too. Yes, take a sip of my soda there. Well, a quick break that invites the whispering noises to return momentarily. Also, if you notice, the painting in the background has changed a little bit. Just a little bit. But, yeah, and we just heard footsteps even though... Well, there's supposed to be one other person in the house, but all of us are in the one room and none of us are moving. So, yeah. So let's talk to Simone first, Miss Taylor. What do you know about the mansion? Well, I've heard some pretty disturbing stories about it. Here we go. There have been stories of weird happenings around it for decades. Ever since the first disappearance of the original owner and his son. People have gone missing in the area around the house more than anywhere else in the country. Really now, okay. And yet, people from all walks of life, yet this is not better known. People like us. Don't say that. Even though it's true, right? How did you come to be here? I only came down here for a documentary. There's been a lot of interest in old ghost stories lately. I figured something on the Foe Manor would pull in the ratings. Not because it would make interesting viewing. Well, I mean, this is why I hate television. Define interesting. It seems like more of a subjective thing than anything. I arrived here before the camera crew. I was supposed to wait for them. I guess that explains that. But I couldn't resist just taking a walk around the grounds. Next thing I knew, I was in the backyard. Somehow. I looked all over the place but couldn't find a way back to the front. Somehow. Okay. It was my own fault, really. Yes, it was. So what happened to the camera crew? I have no idea. They probably just left when I never showed up. I'm sort of glad they didn't get mixed up in this too. I should have gotten them to get help, I mean, quite. And of course, tell me a bit about yourself. Why, that's so sweet of you to ask. We're in for it now. I'm a correspondent for the BBC, but you probably already knew that. I'm afraid I don't watch much television. Well, I do outside broadcasts for the news mainly. Sometimes I present documentaries or variety shows. Whenever I'm needed, really. Because that's how that works. Very much a Jill of all trades. That's all I wanted to know. Right, so that takes care of her. What about Philip here, Mr. Hardy? I missed his response, but okay. What do you know about the mansion? Actually, wait, what if we... Yes, Mr. Trilby, there you go. What do you know about the mansion? Plenty. I read an article on this month's Treasure Hunting Monthly. It was built by some explorer guy, Sir Roger Defoe or something like that. His wife died giving birth. He and his son went missing sometime later. Hell, maybe the article could tell you better than I could. I'll let you borrow it. Thanks. Just don't mess it up too much, it's for my scrapbook. Well, better come back and stand over here now. How did you come to be here? Well, I came up here to look for some artifacts. I'm sure you had the full consent of the Defoe solicitors to do so. Well, looks like we're on the same page. Shut up. I just heard of some old family tombs somewhere under the building. I mean, really old. Living inside probably doesn't belong to anyone, so finders keepers. I managed to call in a few favors to get over the ravine and the back wall, and then they left, I guess. And of course I couldn't get out again. How many people know you're here? Well, a handful, I suppose. They wouldn't get suspicious till I go missing for months, though. And tell me a bit about yourself. About me. Well, I'm in what you would call the import-export business. You're a thief. I am not a thief. Sounds more like a smuggler. Oops, okay, a treasure hunter. I only take what belongs to dead people. It's not using it, you know. Our new friend here, he's a thief. True, but also a gentleman. Well, and I only take what I'm sure no one's using too, if you say so. I'm sure that's a great comfort to them. That's all I wanted to know. Well, righto. Actually, before we continue, let me go ahead and look at my items, because we haven't even looked at the newspaper that I picked up a while ago. There's the footsteps again. It's a copy of the local paper dated last Friday. Heir to the Defoe estates found dead. Sir Clarence Defoe, last of the long-running Defoe line, was found dead yesterday in his home. Defoe 24, oh that's my age, was found hanging from a tree in the front yard of Defoe Manor. His recent bride, Julia Swanson Defoe, was also found dead in the mansion, apparently stabbed to death. Inspector Jacob Barnes, the officer in charge of the investigation, has closed the case. There's no mystery here, he said. Defoe killed his wife and then himself. He had already disproved the possibility of a third party. Sir Clarence's solicitor, Michael Chesham, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm assuming, however, has gone on record questioning the inspector's judgment. The last I saw Sir Clarence, he was infinitely content. He would never have committed such an act. Plus, there was no suicide note. So that's the newspaper. What about the article we just got? It's an article cut out from a magazine called Treasure Hunting Monthly, The Mystery of Defoe Manor. One of the country's more notorious stately homes is renowned for being a great source of untold wealth. But what is the curse that surrounds the creaking house? The mansion was built in the early 19th century by the legendary explorer Roderick Defoe, in celebration of his retirement and marriage. Sir Roderick disappeared along with his only son on the 15-year anniversary of his wife's sudden death. After that, the house fell into the possession of a succession of heirs, most of whom died or disappeared in mysterious circumstances. The house was left abandoned after the last heir was thought to have died in 1946, until the recent appearance of Clarence Defoe managed to prove his connection to the lineage and inherit the house. Did I miss anything? Feels like some of those boxes went a little quickly, but I guess not. Okay. So now we just have to talk to Jim. So Jim, yes. What do you know about the mansion? Not much. Could always just about see the roof over the playground wall. How old is he, I mean? They all used to tell each other it was haunted. Why? Were there any stories or legends attached? Well, a friend of mine used to say a crazy hermit lived there. Killed people and ate them alive. Oh well, I'm certainly reassured. How did you come to be here? Was it there? I was so stupid. Climbed over the school wall at lunchtime. Why? It wasn't there. Hey, why do you know? We were going to see how long it would take the school to find us. Then we came across this old house. Richard dared me to knock on the door. Bet me £1 I wouldn't do it. £1? Oh boy, my school was like that. Broke my collarbone playing pylon once. Shut up, Philip. What happened next? Well, I was about to knock on the door, but it opened by itself. I heard Richard dare me to take a step inside. So you did, and the door closed behind you and it wouldn't open again. Yeah. Your friends didn't call the police or anything? How should I know? Well, guess they didn't since nobody came. That was on Wednesday. What day is today? Well, I don't know. School probably know I'm gone now. I see. So yeah, I guess they haven't said anything either. Tell me a bit about yourself. Like what? I don't know. Where were you before you came here? I was at St. Trinian's boarding school not far from here. Been there since I was 10. Well, my parents move around a lot, you see. How old are you now? Nearly 16. Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know. Anyone else see the pattern in all of these stories? Which pattern would that be? Seems to me the house only traps people individually. Didn't try to trap Jim's friends, or did it? I mean, or Simone's camera crew. It's only letting us in one at a time. Talking about the house like it's intelligent, well, surely it's more likely that there's just some joker behind all this. Maybe. But how did they know we were coming? How did it know to leave a window open for me, risking one of you finding it? Think the house is haunted? I wouldn't use that word, but I definitely have a very odd feeling. Like we're being watched, I suppose. Yeah, maybe this is one of Simone's rating winners. Excuse me? Well, locking up some people in the house against their will and secretly filming them. Sounds like a natural reality TV progression. Boy, we're getting topical here. It's also highly illegal. Wouldn't stop some people. Where the hell has AJ got to anyway? I was hoping he'd be here. He's been doing some research on the house. He was going to share it with us tonight. Okay. Maybe someone should go look for him. What now? It is getting pretty late. Admit I am beginning to feel tired. Yeah, me too. Well, what about AJ? Don't think there's any need to worry now. If he still hasn't turned up by morning, then we'll look for him. Oh, alright. But we look for him as soon as we get up. And all of a sudden it's day 2. Alright. I don't know where we slept, but apparently we did. What was that noise? And of course, the one time he says that it's, it's not a time that an actual noise happens. Oh, Jesus, no. Simone, Philip, Jim. Oh, God. Who did this? What the? You did this? Stay back, I'm warning you. Who are you? I'm you. Well, okay, I guess that's where he sleeps. My question has been partially answered. Christ, I've never dreamt so vividly before. It was so disturbing. And all of a sudden we're in control again. And I don't think any of the descriptions for stuff are gonna change, so yeah, let's move around, shall we? Actually, let's not go this way, let's go this way. And there's Jim. Actually, wait a minute, before I do anything else, let me take a look at the newspaper again. Dated last Friday, okay, so we don't actually know what day of the week it is. I was kind of wondering. Oh, no, fuck, play. I should probably save, actually. Here's the previous save that I had. That seems fitting. There we go. Also, taking note of how this portrait looks. An aging man in a safari suit. A little bit different, don't you think? The description is, and the appearance as well from how the painting was yesterday. So there's Jim. Can't be older than 16 and he's wearing some mutation of a school uniform, right? Let's manhandle him or not. We're not in the mood for picking fights. Hi, Mr. Trilby. Do you know where the others are? I don't know where Mr. Harty is, but Miss Taylor's up in the library. The library? On the 2nd floor. Think she broke the door open or something. Thanks. Do you know, well, this is gonna be the same thing, right? Yep. What are you doing? Or, yeah, what are you reading there? I thought I had picked the wrong thing. Treasure Island. I found it in the living room. How are you liking it? Well, it's a bit heavy going. I think I prefer Terry Pratchett. Really. And I don't know, I tried reading Terry Pratchett once, but I feel that things I expect are a little bit unsuited to how Terry Pratchett writes. Seen AJ anywhere? Not since yesterday morning. He seemed pretty anxious about something. Did he say why? No. He said something about getting to the bottom of all this. Then he left the room and I never saw him again. Well, so maybe he knows something. I sure hope we can meet him. How are you feeling? Okay, I guess. Had this really horrible dream. But you don't want to hear about it. We're taking this imprisonment thing very well, I must say. Well, it's not that different to boarding school, really. Oh, boy. But there's no one to hit you across the knuckles when you talk too much at night. Across the knuckles? So they hit your fist? I don't really understand, but okay. Can keep asking him where the others are, so I guess we're going upstairs. Seems like the sensible thing to do. Oh, wait a minute, the door's right there with a broken lock. And here's Simone. And books. Evidently someone's been doing a little research here. Books. Historical texts on the most really well-known novel, on most of the really well-known noble families in the history of the Defoe lineage. That looks interesting. And we borrow it. Yes, we do. What time are we up in the Defoe family? We'll have nothing but photo albums. A couple of binders containing old architectural plans for the full manors that... I guess the two yellow ones in the middle. Collection of old road maps and atlases, probably tragically out of date. Delia's How to Cook series, okay. 1988 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica with Wagner to Woodhouse or Woodlouse missing, right. Complete unabridged Oxford English Dictionary. These don't come cheap. 1988, I guess the green and red books are both part of that. Collection of old road maps. Books on photography, cartooning and watercoloring. Lovingly bound textbooks on gardening. Books on the occult, no doubt interesting bedtime reading. Several volumes of something called a Digest of the Visual Arts. Some photography, cartooning, blah blah blah, some of P.G. Woodhouse's best. Sun-bleached skull probably placed here to add a gothic ambience. Okay. So can we take some of the plans as well? Can't think of use for these books at the moment, really. Not even the mansion plans. No, I guess not, but we can read up on the Defoe family at least. History of the Defoe family, volume 7. Alright. Roderick Defoe, later Sir Roderick Defoe, is probably the most famous of the lineage, using a lot of the inheritance he attained when his parents died suddenly. He embarked on a series of adventures throughout the globe, earning quite a reputation as a colonial explorer. He retired from adventuring at the age of 40 when he met his future bride, Belinda Rothman, and fell instantly in love. He built a luxury manor in the English countryside and the couple moved in as soon as the work was complete. Wait, the English countryside is not where we are right now? I don't know. By all accounts. The couple were deliriously happy, which is what made Belinda's sudden death. Maybe we are in Britain. Never mind, then. The couple were deliriously happy, which is what made Belinda's sudden death while giving birth to their only son Matthew all the more tragic. Sir Roderick was in mourning for a long time, leaving the upbringing of Matthew in the hands of numerous nannies and tutors. When he finally started taking an interest in his son, he was known to be bitterly disappointed as his son rejected the idea of joining the army, preferring to pursue art and literature. As Matthew neared the age of 15, however, he and his father seemed to grow closer. They didn't always see eye to eye, but they seemed to understand each other and offer unconditional love. Alright. Bit of a grammar flub there. Maybe it's because of the allotted space for the text, but I don't know. And then on Matthew's 15th birthday, he and Roderick disappeared. A servant found bloodstains in one of the rooms, but no bodies were found. The fate of Sir Roderick and his wayward son remains a mystery to this day. The first of many mysterious disappearances connected to the Defoe line and the family house. So, if I didn't read that incorrectly, I guess. The English countryside, I guess we're actually supposed to be in England right now, not Canada. So that comment about the moose downstairs was actually not very well redacted, so I guess we can talk to Simone too. Can't actually select a chair. Hey, Miss Taylor. Hello, Mr. Truby. Do you know where the others are? Philip said he was going into the garden. I don't know where Jim is, and AJ's still missing. Alright. Sleep well? To be honest, not really. I had this terrible dream. Someone had killed you and Philip and Jim. I remember a huge guy with a welding mask. Let me guess. He took off the mask and he looked exactly like you. No. Actually, he looked exactly like you. What does it mean? Frankly, I don't want to know. Did you break the lock on the door? No, I just came up here and it was like that. Okay. Suppose AJ must have done it. I suppose. He must have been reading from that pile of books. I don't know exactly. I'd have to ask him. So I take it AJ hasn't turned up yet. No. Do you think he found a way out? If he did, he didn't have the decency to tell us. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, he's kind of jumpy. Maybe he just saw an opportunity and took it. Maybe. What do you know? You know about AJ? Not much. He refused to tell us anything about himself. Where he came from, why he came here. Not even his full name. Kind of suspicious, isn't it? You think he had some kind of agenda? I really wouldn't know. Well, of course you're no one to judge when it comes to withholding names, of course. Heh. So how are you holding up? Oh, spare me the gallantry. I'm just fine. Alright, well that's that then. So let's go look for Philip next, I guess. Apparently he's out in the yard. The one full of holes. So off we go. The store is still closed, yes, okay. And sure enough there is. Rather a wild-eyed young man in a leather jacket and khakis, and he's also got something with him, as you can see. Hey, Mr. Hardy. Well, look who's up. We've seen the others. Last I saw Jim, he was in the dining room. Yeah, we can't. I don't know about the Taylor woman, so I guess one of them tells you where one of the others are, but doesn't know about the rest. Can't really come here without running into Jim, so that's a bit of a moot point. Do you know if AJ's turned up yet? Not to my knowledge. In fact, I don't think we'll ever be seeing him again. Why not? Well, if this is some kind of reality TV stunt, he must have been in on it. Maybe he's going to file the reports on how all the hidden cameras are working. I honestly doubt this is the work of the BBC, Philip. Do you have a better explanation? Not yet. Well then. What are you doing with that metal detector, which I guess is what he's holding? It's actually part of the plan to get out of here. Oh good. I've heard there's some kind of family tomb buried somewhere under the grounds. If I can find it, there might be another way to the surface. I presume any family valuables they have down there would be an unexpected bonus. Hey, judge not, lest you be judged yourself. You're a cat burglar, for God's sake. At least I have a sense of priorities. Well, when you've found an escape route and saved us all, I'll be sure to apologize profusely. And how do you know the tomb's there, anyway? I don't. That's what the metal detector's for. How do you know there's anything to detect? It's probably old stone and dusty corpses. Actually, you'd be surprised how much metal can be found in a tomb. Belt buckles, coffin handles, candlesticks. Gold, silverware. Implying something? Oh, goodness me, no. Listen, the tomb could be on the other side of the grounds for all you know. Sure, but this is as good a place as any to start. Well, I guess that makes sense. And until I see some compelling evidence for its location, I'll continue my systematic sweep. Bit of a hint there. You the one who dug up half the lawn? Actually, wait, can I borrow your metal detector? What do you want it for? I'm not sure yet. Brilliant. Well, I'll give you a shout when I'm finished with it. Which probably won't be for a while. Finished with the metal detector yet? No, you can have it when I've found the tomb. Oh, okay. How are you doing? Oh, I'm just fine. And when I find a way out, I'll be even better. So are you the one who dug up half the lawn? Yeah? I was trying to dig my way out of this place, apparently, even though we didn't think it looked like that. But the ground gets really solid 2 feet down, and the wall foundations go even further. Well, that would explain the holes nearest the walls. But what about the others? Alright, I was looking for treasure. Well, happy now. Want some kind of metal? Just professional interest, you understand. Any luck? With treasure? No. Want some kind of pipeline running under the lawn, but not much else. Pipeline, huh? Okay, he doesn't really want to talk to us. Well, we did see the pipeline over here. I wonder where it leads. Hey, are you finished with that thing yet in the time that I was away? Nope. So I think this is one of those things where, even though you could have done this out of order if the game let you ignore certain flags, have to learn some information in order before you're actually allowed to progress. Just now that we know what Philip is up to over there, he's looking for some tomb, apparently located underneath the mansion grounds. Go back here and remember these yellow books. Map is always handy, of course. We could have grabbed the map before we talked about that. And let's take a look at the plan. Very old architectural plan of the Faux Manor. The underground tomb clearly marked as being under the front yard. There's something odd about this map, like there's something missing. No, there's something here that doesn't belong. Something I don't recall seeing in the house. Well, let's take a look at the map and try to figure out what that might be. Because let's see. Second floor, and we pretty much got no reason to believe any of this is inaccurate. But let's see, the first floor. Here's the backyard. Here's the... I think this is the foyer where we come in. There's the stairs that go up. There's the lounge. There's the... Actually, what is this? The TV room, I think, maybe. The lounge, the TV room, and the trophy room. The sitting room where what's-his-face is Jim. There's the backyard with the pool and the shed that we haven't been able to go into. There's the kitchen, and then there's this. We don't know what this is. I don't know if we're allowed... If we're gonna really make any note of that right now, though, but... More importantly, for the time being at least, we have proof that there's no hidden tomb under the front yard, or at least good indication. Well, we can now select the wall. According to the map, there should be a stairwell right behind this wall. Guess someone bricked over it. And I'm not gonna be doing anything with my bare hands, so yeah, apparently there's something behind this wall, but we can't get to it without breaking it down, and apparently we don't have the means to do so quite yet. But let's see if just talking to Phil is gonna be enough to... No, I guess not, we have to give him the proof. Hey, take a look at this. Hey, Mr. Hardy, I found this old map in the library. Did you? Take a look. Tomb is quite clearly under the front yard. But this is the backyard. There's no way into the front yard. Sucks, doesn't it? Oh, I guess that's my escape plan out the window. Thanks a bunch, buddy. Don't mention it. So now can I borrow the metal detector? Why the hell not? Well, take away my hopes, might as well take away my only worldly possession too. My jacket isn't worth for anything. Have fun with it. Thanks. Now do excuse me. And there he goes. So now we are the proud owner of a metal detector. Rather a cheap, overused metal detector, so what shall we do with this? I know where I would begin at a starting point, so we can still use it for something in the yard. Just don't know where to start, or do we? Pipeline, I wonder where it leads. I think that's the key here. You can track where this pipeline leads with the metal detector. Trail ends here. Small amount of dirt which the pipeline under the lawn is apparently leading to, so can we take a look inside, and what have we here? Philip's laborings must have covered it up. Ooh, what is that actually? Panel. Small metal panel with a single unmarked red button. Well, why not? Let's go ahead and push it. Apparently that didn't seem to do anything. So let's head back. What do you know? Place is now empty. And down the ladder. Christ. Oh, Christ. This is definitely the man I met on the landing, presumably AJ. Looks like someone tied him to an iron hook at the bottom of the pool. But I think he was dead before then. His throat's been split by some large-edged weapon. God, the stench. I've got to find the others. Dead? How? Murdered. He was stabbed to death and tied to the bottom of the pool. Oh my god. You know what this means, don't you? We are the only ones in this house. The killer has to be one of us. Not necessarily. I don't think any one of us could engineer... Shut up! It was you, wasn't it? Well, you killed AJ and now you're covering your tracks. Philip, you're being absurd. Why would Trilby tell us where the body is if he wanted to hide it? He's covering his tracks. He was the last to arrive. Don't tell me you're not a bit suspicious of him. Well, I don't know how that logic works, but okay. Look, what happened to AJ was a terrible thing. But if we let it tear us apart, we could all go the same way. I mean, if one of us is in fact the killer. He's got a point, Philip. Oh, I see. You're all in on this together. Philip, shut up. As far as I'm concerned, there's no one I can trust anymore. From now on, it's everyone for themselves. So off he goes. I sure do wonder what's gonna happen to him. Idiot. He's shaken. We all are. So what do you think? About AJ, I mean. I'm really not sure. I think we're being haunted. Oh. Well, at least someone's keeping their head. Okay, I'm not exactly in love with such an unscientific idea as a murderer's ghost. But nothing other than the supernatural could have engineered the situation. Are you sure about that, I mean? And this house has a bad history. History I think it's time I started looking into. Well, you do whatever you want. I think I'm gonna look into AJ's death with a slightly more sensible attitude. Where's Jim? Someone should tell him about AJ. I think he went upstairs. I'll go look for him. And so we do. Father, Jim. Jim, is that you? What are you doing, Father? What? Father, no. Oh boy. Hold on. I'm coming to rescue you. Mr. Trilby. Oh. Fell asleep on the couch again. Just like I probably will, for too long. And that was day 2. On to day 3 we go. You wanted me to wake you. Did I? You remember yesterday? You told me about AG, then said you were going to look into the house. And you asked me to wake you this morning so you could get started. Yes, I remember. Thank you, Jim. Anytime. So you might have gleaned from the title of the game too. It's gonna be... oh, whoops. It's gonna take place over the course of 5 days with 5 people in the house. Well, a little less than that now. Landscape, which also looks a little different from how it did the last time we saw it. So, let's see. Actually, give me just a second to look around. Alright. Let's go back to the backyard, I guess. The only yard in the house. Maybe we have to. Well, we already read the family history. We read. Well, the painting looks a little bit more different now, too. Portrait of a wizened, bearded old man in a safari suit. It's also Sir Roderick Defoe. And here's Philip, of course, with papers. Don't see anything important. Well, might be a jab at him. Rather wild-eyed young man, I guess his description has not changed. Hello, Philip. Leave me alone, cat burglar. Have you seen the others? No. All I know is that they're not here bothering me. Why don't you go join them? Alright then. What are you doing? None of your business. Are those maps of the house? Yes, they're maps. I'm going to find a way out, then I'm going to get away from this madhouse once and for all. And after that, if I ever see your smug pinstripe-wearing face again, it'll be a million years too soon. Well, come on, Phil, none of us could have possibly killed AJ. Maybe. Really have proof of that. You wanna bet? You're over 6 foot. You could have done it easily. Maybe I could have, but I didn't. Prove it. You know I can't. Well then. You know, your attitude could be the death of us, somehow. It's certainly gonna be the death of you if you don't get out of my face. Not feeling any better this morning? Oh, I am just peaches. Now go away. Right, well that takes care of that. Well, let's go off to explore each corner of the house. See if there's... oh, what's this? I just found it out here like this. Well, do you know whose it is? Looks very curious. Yeah, it's mine. Did you bring it in here last night or something? Of course not. Well, it was in the front yard and there's no way into the front yard. Maybe someone's trying to help us. Maybe. Go and find the others and let them know about it. Sure. So yeah, we got our car which has somehow appeared inside. How it got to be here is something I certainly can't explain, so let's interact with our car. Great. My lockpicks are here. Must have fallen out of my pocket while I was getting out of the car. So there we go. I'll hide an emergency pick in the lining of my tie like I usually do, which I guess I didn't before I came in here for some reason. Bit of a hole there in the plot, if I do say so myself. So now we have lockpicks, like in the Thief games. Can pick any lock in under 5 minutes with these beauties. Actually, they might be based on the lockpicks from the Thief games, now that I look at it a little more, because in those games, well, the classic ones at least, 1 and 2, you got like this rust-colored lockpick that has a square tooth, and you got the silver-colored lockpick with a triangle tooth. So maybe that's a bit of another. Or perhaps we can use these lockpicks to open up this door here. There we go. That takes care of that. And here in the shed, we got a pickaxe. God only knows what it's doing here, but I think I can find a use for it. I can take my car from here, and a cupboard. I wonder what delights await within. And a saw. One of those two-man wood saws, and a workbench. Empty workbench is like an empty mind. I do not know what that equates to, but oh hey, we are the proud owner of a two-man saw as well. So what's in there? Apparently nothing. Cupboard is bare. But now we have a saw, and we also have a pickaxe. Very sure I know what to do with the latter of those. Old-fashioned miner's pickaxe and a well-polished old two-man saw. If I take the pick and we sit on the wall here, knock knock. It's an awfully neat, clean whole circle. You can see stairs through they must have been blocked off centuries ago, so let's go through the hole and discover this place, which apparently causes the music to come back. Chains. Are these manacles? What the hell was this room used for? Well, I'll give you 3 guesses. We still have the... yeah, we do. Pickaxe, that doesn't work. Well, people learn about the manacles dungeon that's apparently next to the kitchen. Sure, we're all very excited to learn about that. So, yeah. Actually, wait just a second. Can't use the saw by ourselves, but if we look around here, we go back into the library. Well, there's Jim, but actually, hang on a minute. What if we try using lockpicks to open up any of the other doors in here? I think I did it, but it still won't open. There must be a deadbolt on the other side or something. Oh shit, I thought those would be unselected. And what about the door on the right here? There we go, unlocked. Alright, so here we can go into. It's the bedroom. Wardrobe. A rather nice piece of Victorian furniture. And a nightstand. Fairly understated one at that, so it seems. This must be the room Clarence Defoe had picked for himself and his wife. And a window. Seem to be some little scratches on the wall just under the window. You know, in case you didn't notice them. I kind of did, but there are the scratches. I thought. Didn't look like they were made by human fingernails. Actually kind of hard to target because they're so small. Can't think what I do with the scratches, and why do you know the window opened? Since it overlooks the backyard, that doesn't help me much. Or does it? Fairly understated nightstand. Well, can we do anything with any of these? Empty. Not sure I would feel right sleeping in a dead man's bed. Well, and this one's empty too. Is there anything in there? There's a wire hanger and a book. According to the front cover, this is the Diary of Sir Roderick Defoe, circa the early 19th century, so let's lift that. Let's take a look at the window. Can we take a look outside? Can. Tree is in the way. Very old, very dead oak, and there's a loose tile up there. Toilet must have come away slightly during the rebuilding. Roof is tiled in expensive red slates. And there's a window leading into the other locked room on this floor. You might have noticed in the inventory too that there's one item up here that we started the game with. It's the Grolly. My grappling hook launcher made to look like an umbrella. Which is a mixture of the name Broly, which I'm pretty sure is slang for an umbrella, and grappling hook. So can we use it for this? I don't think we can right now since the tree's in the way, but I'm sure it would be highly amusing to Grolly across the gap and slam heavily into the tree trunk. It would not be a great help, so I need the tree to not be in the way. However, I might as well read the diary of the dead guy while we're in this room. Diary of Sir Roderick Defoe, March 5th, 1805. Actually, let me take a quick drink before I start this. There we go. March 5th, 1805. Work on the house is going well. It should be completed by the end of July. Belinda's already excited about the forthcoming wedding and spends many hours of the day going over even the smallest details over and over again. Not since our early courtship has she been so giddy with joy. It softens my heart to see her smile, and when she smiles, often. I am wondering why it didn't retire sooner. August 12th, 1805. I am only now having the opportunity to write this, as it has been a most hectic day. The wedding went without a hitch, and the house was ready for us to move in as soon as the ceremony was over. Belinda insisted in consummating our marriage immediately. I am sure, dear diary, this house didn't expect to hear the laughter of children before 1806 is out. Alright. February 14th, 1806, a romantic day for our announcement. The physician has just left confirming that Belinda is with child, a child we can expect to be born in June. I've already decided to name the child Matthew if a boy or Jane if a girl. June 28th, 1806, Belinda is dead. I will never forget her face, ash grey, contorted with pain. The child is healthy. Would that it had never come about and spared me this fresh hell. Well, May 24th, 1820. Well, Matthew showed me the painting of the grounds he had created. Don't worry about the boy. Why can't he have healthier interests like soldiering? The painting was fair, I suppose, but I would rather my child be less of a weakling, of course. June 28th, 1821. It is the anniversary of the night I unleashed a horror which I tonight shall remove from this world. The night I unleashed a horror. June 28th, apparently. May God forgive me. That's the last entry, right? It was June 28th, was it? Is that the anniversary of the June 28th, 1806, yeah, of the birth that resulted in the death of the mother, so that very same day is the night he unleashed the horror, right? Wonder what the connection would be, or could be. So yeah, let's go ahead and speak to Jim. What do you think we should do next? I think we should be doing as much research into the house as we can. What are you doing? Just looking for stuff in the house. Why? Dunno. Yes, you do, Jim. Why? Because I want help. But I'm not sure what I can do. Have you seen Philip and Simone? Mr. Hart is in the dining hall shouting at everyone who comes in. Miss Taylor said she was investigating AJ. Thanks. Well, do you want to tag along with me? Sure, let's go ahead. Promise not to get in the way. So now we have this guy tagging along with us, I think, maybe. Can we leave the room? Oh yeah, there he goes. Just kind of lagging behind a little bit, but I guess that's part of the realism factor. He also kind of walks through the doors though, so there's that. Yeah, well, not really. Come complaining there. So yeah, this tree is the very tree that's apparently in the way. Gym. What do you think we should do next? Well, hang on. Never mind. Let's look at the big saw we have. 2-man saw, so let's use that on the tree. Jim, give me a hand with this. And there we go. The tree is suddenly brought down. It slides off to the corner there. Why did we cut the tree down? Also, where did it go, Mr. Trilby? I'm not exactly sure. I know it makes me feel better. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm done with you now. Bye. Unless you're still following me. I don't think he's gonna follow us anymore, but we actually have a course of action now. Oh wait, never mind, he's still following me. Oh well, I guess I'm okay with him witnessing what I'm about to attempt here. Better go to the window. And we are going to... What are you doing, Mr. Trilby? Just popping out for some fresh air. Why don't you wait for me in the library? But I guess that's the cutoff point. Where we're gonna be, hey, you're not allowed to follow us anymore. And now that the tree is no longer a factor, let's use the Grolly to swing across very smoothly like so. And open the window and come into this room. The only room in the top floor we haven't gone into yet, I don't think. Very old Victorian era stuffed bear and a bed. Single bed, maybe this room has been left as a spare or something. An understated nightstand, an easel with a blank canvas, how philosophical, and a wardrobe. So let's begin examining this place. There's nothing in the wardrobe, so it seems. I don't paint. Can we take the teddy? I think we can actually. Why the hell not? There we go. Not very tired. What about the nightstand? Is there anything in here? There's an old diary. How convenient. Oh, I guess we took it. Maybe. Yeah, we got Teddy. Very old teddy bear. Can we just open the door? We can. Alright. I guess the entirety of the upper floor is open to us now. So let's do some reading. Secret Diary of Matthew Defoe, June 28th, that's his birthday. His 8th birthday. I said I would soon be a big strong man like my father. I wanted to see him today, but he wouldn't come out of his study all day. Now he says he always gets cross on this day, but it's not because of me. Found a new friend. He's behind the door in the kitchen and he doesn't have a name. Likes me to sit and